Did he do it or did he not? Well, I mean, based on the court, he has been found not guilty, but not really. Let's go ahead and break this down, exactly what happened. And also to let's look at this Diddy thing from a business perspective. Because, of course, everybody on the news is going to be talking about the case, but I wanted to analyze this from a business standpoint and kind of just give you my 2 cents as to what I think about this Diddy situation. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started and kind of just understand exactly what's going on and what exactly was Diddy facing. Because, dude, from a business owner myself, sometimes we put ourselves under intentional stress, as I call it, because, nobody asked us to do this. We can simply just get a regular job. But as an entrepreneur, it's a fight on a daily basis. Fight to keep up with different technologies. Fight to keep up with your competitors and the different changes in the market, and all these different type of things. What does this have to relate to Diddy? I want you guys to really look at it from a business perspective as to what Diddy was actually, about to lose if he was convicted guilty of some of the charges that he faced. Now, to kind of just run it down, Diddy was charged with 5 charges: racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution, sex trafficking, between force, fraud, or coercion, and then also transportation in engaging prostitution. He was found guilty for the transportation to engage in prostitution, but was found not guilty, for racketeering. That was the big one, man. That was the big one. We're going to put my emphasis on that one. And he was also found not guilty for sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. That was also a big one that I think he was looking at life on the racketeering. He was looking at life and even more. Okay, let's talk about this from a business perspective. I just went in here and I asked ChatGPT this morning, what are the consequences as far as business consequences when you lose a RICO case? Under the RICO, okay, racketeering charge that, they were putting on Diddy, what you lose, racketeering, influenced, and corruption organization charge. This charge was created for the mobs. These were people that used to, do a lot of shiesty stuff, order hits, make orders. There was a top dog that never was really directly doing the dirty business, but he would have people under him do the dirty business so he wouldn't get in trouble. That's how this was. So this was a way to get after those top dogs and to kind of, send them in prison and demolish their organization, the criminal organization. The government was claiming that Diddy was running a criminal organization to satisfy his sexual desires. And what he was facing on losing, this is just crazy. If he was found guilty, there was a potential opportunity for his assets to be forfeited, money seized, property seized, and any kind of business asset the business owns. So in addition to Diddy actually facing the criminal penalty, which was going to require jail time, significant jail time, he was going to lose everything, and a lot of people don't really look at it from that perspective. They just focus on the criminal charge. But look at Diddy from what he's done in the music industry. And again, there's going to be people out there that are being too personal with how they view this, and it's fine. It's perfectly okay. Diddy is a horrible human being. I mean, this guy was designed by Satan himself. Okay, he's horrible to women. He beats women. He's definitely not somebody that I would, have 3 sons. I would never want this to be my son, to somebody that has those type of attributes and those type of qualities. His sexual desires are disgusting. But should you go to jail for life for being a bad guy? That's really what the jury answered yesterday. Should you go to jail for life for being a bad human being? Okay, because that's crazy how the government would come at him as strong as they did. If you followed and looked at the case, these quote-unquote victims were willing participants. I mean, there were so many different theories that they willingly engaged in these sexual affairs with Diddy, for money. You could make an argument that they coerced him to stealing his money, but was Diddy rude? Was Diddy putting his hands on them? Was Diddy threatening them at times? Absolutely. He was a horrible boyfriend. Absolutely. He was a horrible human being. But for him to be convicted and for all his life work to be taken away just because of an ex-girlfriend's, bad feelings about how the relationship ended is a little bit ridiculous, and I'm glad the jury spoke out and just really this was dawning on me. Right now I'm in the process of, launching Broker Solutions Academy. I've been working with my students for over a year and a half. And as you're building anything, if it's going to be great, you're going to be going through some challenges. There's going to be some stressful moments. It's going to be what I consider growing pains. That's just with anything. If you don't know, you should know. My name is Brian Sortiano, founder of Pennington Consulting Group. Well, for years, since 2011, we'll help business owners start, grow, or even expand their current businesses. And now I'm challenged with a new endeavor, which is Broker Solutions Academy, where I help people become a real business owner, loan broker, not a glorified referral partner. I try to work with people that are interested in becoming in the industry, offering business loans as a career, something that I've been doing for so long. If you're interested in learning more about that, there's going to be a link in the description. Watch our free training. But nevertheless, when you're dealing with when you're so much under stress, sometimes I have to just walk away. And I want to really just paint the picture with how much Diddy has been dealing with since this arrest. There was, of course, the arrest that happened, him being arrested for racketeering, of course, and the sex trafficking and all of this, and the embarrassment, the public embarrassment. He's a public figure, let me emphasize a little bit more on the embarrassment. He had his family in court. And his daughters had to listen to his sexual affairs. Even in some days that they weren't in court, they still had to listen to it in the media. This is forever going to be out there. That stress of it, in addition to him facing years, potentially life in jail. In addition to that, him being, under threat to lose everything he's ever worked for. I can't even put it out like that. From a business perspective, it's crazy. Because it was putting it out there that he had Cassie on a 10-year contract and he would threaten her that she had to do the free calls in order for him to release the albums. They were tying everything in. And from the looks of it, from the court of public opinion, there was some times that I was looking at this, I was like, man, this is crazy. I was sitting talking to my friend last night. I was like, man, if I was Diddy, I would have settled. This guy is a beast. For him taking that on. They had the videos, they had the text messages. God dang it, they had the baby oil. Okay, some people are making quotes and jokes about this. They said it was too much baby oil, he slipped right through their RICO charge. Okay, but with all joking aside, the criminal charge, the disgrace in the community, the embarrassment in court with your family, the chance of you potentially losing on every single thing you've ever worked for. This was gonna demolish Diddy. Okay, the assets that he had, as far as his family, this was gonna just basically demolish him. In addition to that, Diddy was on a lot of drugs, and immediately after he went to jail, you have to do a detox. Your mind is not even in the best frame of mind. So think about that level of stress that this man was under. And he persevered. He made it through it. So I just made this quick short video to just kind of look at things, this whole Diddy situation as a learning lesson. I made a video about it a few weeks back, talking about how hardworking Diddy was and how great men put down because of not having discipline, not being in control of their desires. But on another side of it, I'm very, I don't want to say I don't want to praise him too much, but I'm very motivated, again, by him being able to go through this and actually persevere, and go to the other side. This is something that it's going to leave a permanent bruise in his life, in his heart, in his soul, and everything. Anyway, that's my 2 cents about this whole Diddy thing. Did he do it? Did he not? I guess he did not. Let's move on with our life. You guys have a good one. Peace out.